my corner of the world. I'm just going to bring everything a little bit closer. Hope it doesn't make you feel seasick. I apologize if it does. And just bring everything a little bit more in focus. Okay. Well, hopefully this is all coming through beautifully today. As you may remember, I've had some issues with this in the last few weeks, but I'm hoping that I've now got it down to how to make it all work. Okay. So, if everything is working, I think we'll give it a go. All right, so it's the 1st of October today. Quite incredible to think we're in October already. And I thought that that would be my cue to do something with an autumny feel to it. And that I would use some autumn colours. And also, when I was with you last week, I introduced some of the new specialty papers that are in the mini catalogue, and one of them was this lovely oxidized copper paper, and at the time I thought that this would make a really good card for a fella, and so that's what I'm going to try and do today. All right, so if you are joining me live, then perhaps you would let me know in the live chat box on the right hand side of the screen there, and then we can chat. Right, I'm having some issues. It's kind of not showing up as live, but I think I'm live. Yes, I'm live. There, I think I am now. I think I had a couple of windows open, but hold on. I am just going to do one more thing, and right. Okay, it looks like I might have had 2 versions running. So right, I'm going to start. Seems that I'm still having problems with the technology, but hopefully it will sort itself out momentarily. Okay, right, so let's think about what we're going to do with this paper. Now this paper has got Lost Lagoon in it. No, it's not. No, I think it's Pretty Peacock. Pretty Peacock. So I thought that I would use the Pretty Peacock paper, and I would also bring in some copper clay to go with it, because I thought, well, that's a nice sort of fellery sort of guy sort of colour. Plus we've got some twine that will go with it, or jute, which I think is a nice sort of manly type thing. And then we've got these lovely speckled dots. And if you look closely, you can see there's actually a little bit of shine in them. So those are my colours. And as always, whenever I do a live performance, as it were, I always start from scratch, and we work our way through the card together. So if you have any comments that you would like, questions, if I ask you what would you think we should do, please go ahead and make a comment in that live chat box, and we can work this card together. So I'm just going to pull my camera a little bit closer. There we go. Right, so we have our cardstock. So I'm going to take a sheet of my card out, and I'm going to use the Pretty Peacock first. It is a favourite of mine, and it came back into the new colour family back in May, and I was absolutely thrilled and delighted that it did. So we're going to make a standard size card, and I'm just going to cut this at 5.5 by 8. There we go. So there's my first piece. And then I thought maybe we could do a simple gatefold card. So in order to do that, we need to have a score line here and a score line here. And so just get some measurements. I think this needs to be, so 2 1/8, and I'll explain why that is in a moment. Right, so the card is 8.5, and I want to have 3 separate panels. The one in the middle needs to be 4 1/4. So 4 1/4 divided by 2 is 2 1/8. So if I go 2 1/8 and score, I should be in a good place. So we can see my score lines here. Right. So we just use this like that. And I've got my stash here of ready cut pieces of paper for the middle of my cards. That's where I write your to you, love from me. And we've got, it's not quite meeting in the middle, but we'll make that work. All right. So these panels then are 2 1/8. 2 1/8. I'm just going to get some paper. So they're 2 1/8 by 5.5. And I want to put a panel on there. So if I do a 1/4 inch or an 1/8 inch all round, that means a quarter. So that would be 1 7/8 times 5 1/4. And then if I want to put another panel, which I think I might, that's 1/8 off of there, 1 3/4 to, no, so that's times 5. And if I take, so 3/4 is 6/8. Right, I'm going to think about that. It's too much thinking on a Sunday morning. Well, Sunday afternoon really, thinking about it again. So I've got my copper clay and I've got my pretty paper. So let's see what we've got. Now, this comes in 12 by 12, as you can see, and you get 2 sheets of this one, which is like, well, it's a bit like copper clay. It's more like pecan pie, thinking about it. And then this one here. And since I'm using my Pretty Peacock card base, I think I'm going to use this one. Anyway, you get 2 sheets. They're single-sided, so you don't have to cry over the fact that you've hidden another pretty pattern on the back. So I'm going to just pop that on the floor, and I think that goes quite nicely on there. It's quite a nice contrast. Right, so let's cut some panels. I decided I needed this to be 1 7/8, so on my 1 7, well, maybe I need to cut, because I've got to cut 2, so I am going to do 5 1/4. 5 1/4. Now, when I do panels that are going to be on the same side or opposite sides, and they're going to kind of meet in the middle, I like to have the long piece cut first, the long side. That means that when I stick them on, then they're going to be the same size. And that's, as I say, that's the way I like to do this. So we're going to do 5 1/4 that way, and 1 7/8. And it's really easy to find the 7/8 or the 1/8 markings on this cutter here. If I bring it up, you'll see that we've got the 1 inch, the 1/2 inch, the 3/4, the 1/8, the 7/8, and then that gives me 15/16 there if I really, really want it to be that, you know, have something that fine. Right, so pop my thing to one side. So my idea is to pop that on there, and then to have my decorative paper on top of that. And I'm going to need my steel rule, which I left on my desk. Right, so we said this is 1 7/18. So if I need to lose 1/4 inch, I need to have 5/8, 1 5/8. So 1 5/8 by 5. Okay, so those are my measurements, 1 5/8 by 5, and I'll need 2 pieces again. So I'm not happy about cutting a 5-inch slice off of this. I'm gonna break my own rule and do do the long one first, because I really don't want to cut a 5-inch slice off of this gorgeous piece of paper. So 1 5/8. So I'm going to be really, really careful. And I chose to use this side of my paper because there's more of the blue. And I've also cut it so that the grain of the decoration is going to go up and down. Because I think that will probably look better. So now I've got to be really accurate about cutting my 5-inch pieces. 1, and 2. So I've got this little piece here which will not go wasted. We can't possibly waste this beautiful paper. Right. So there is the basis of my card, like that. So how are we liking it so far? Okay. Right. So we'll start by doing a little bit of sticking. So we'll just stick these panels down so that they don't get lost. And I don't spend time, instead of creating, I don't spend time flicking through all the bits on my desk trying to find them. Right. A little bit smooshed out there, but we'll get rid of that. Right, so those are those pieces. And I like that colour combination. I think that that really works. And when you look at the blue here, this card back brings this out even more. Lovely. Okay, stop going on about it, Cindy. Now we need to do something. Right. So we need a decorative panel, and I want, as I said, to use this lovely Earth and Textures die set with the stamps. And as always, you'll hear me say that I do love a stamp set that has images and stamps, greetings. And this does it for me. And as you know, I love excuse me, I love to use flowers, but flowers on a guy card, not sure they'd be very well received. So this has got like little branches and grasses on it, and I think that that would be a bit more acceptable for a fella. So that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to use my ink colours, the same ink colours that are in my papers. So I've got Pretty Peacock and Copper Clay, and I'm going to cut a panel now. Did you know that you can get the maximum out of your cardstock if you cut your sort of front panels 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. Then you get 8 pieces out of a sheet of cardstock. Then your neutral, whether it's vanilla or the white, if you cut the into 8 pieces, but you cut them 2 1/2 by 4, you'll get your layers. And I'm just seeing if this will work. I don't think it will. I'm just trying to use a scrap. And you'll get the maximum out of your piece, out of your card, without too much in the way of wastage. Right, so let's see what I've got here. So this is 3 1/4. So if I cut this piece 4 1/4, this was a scrap left over, and then I cut this by 2 3/4. That's going to give me a really nice panel on the front of my card. And then if I get a piece of vanilla and I cut it 1/4 inch smaller, so this is going to be 2 3/4, 2 1/2, 2 1/2 by 4. And you may have come across this from Simple Stamping, and Connie calls them flashcards, but you know, it works on anything. Right, so can you see what I mean, how we've got a nice panel, and that will actually take 8 pieces on a single sheet of cardstock, so it's quite economic. What do you think? Is that going to work? Right, let's take this, get a piece of paper and do some stamping, because we haven't done any of that yet. Now, I already put on a block this is like a pot, and to put it the right way up, it's got like a slightly rounded piece at the bottom, and then a straight one at the top. So the straight one is the top and the rounded one is toward the bottom. Not that it's going to make any difference to what we're doing here, because I'm only going to use a small piece of it, I think. Right. Okay, so we're going to do that. That looks a weeny bit dark, but I have a feeling that when it dries, it will dry a lot lighter than that. So there we have that. And one of the other stamps is this lovely sort of frondy grass. So I'm going to do a little bit of masking. So I have got a sticky note here, and I'm just going to stick this so just a tiny wincy bit of my pot sticks out, and then I'm using my other colour. So this is the peacock, and I'm going to put this just so this pokes out from the side. Okay. So that's that. Now the set of dies is beautiful. Look at these. They've got, I mean, I just love this. This is just sort of reminds me of like one of those fans that you used to see in the Egyptian movies, or the movies that had like the Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians, where they used to fan them like that. That is a beautiful die, and it will actually emboss as well. So I'd like to use that. And then we've got a small pot there, and then we've got a nice fern, I'm not sure quite, and then we have got a die that will cut the pot, or a small portion of the pot there like that. Well, I don't think we'll use that. Okay, I'm going to start with those two, and if I need the others, oh, just a sec, this. Ha ha ha. Now this makes a little top to give it some handles. Right, let's see. We might use that one as well. Right. Now then, I'm thinking that I could do this like that and put a pot kind of like that. What do you think? That is my thought for the minute. Right. Let's see. Now there is a stamp for this little pot. And let's see about now. I don't want to use that piece because I've got another scrap here. Okay, let's see. So there's my little pot. Let's get, I've got my mini here. And I'm going to use my #1 white base plate and then a cutting plate. Then I'm going to put my stamped piece down and pop that on top. And so it doesn't move, we're going to put some of this nice sort of sticky note strip on it. Now it looks like that the actual pot stamp is bigger than the die, but that's okay, we can make this work because we don't need all of it. So let's just cut that piece out like this. So there's one of my pieces. Like that. And now I've to decide what to do with this. What should I cut with this? Ooh. Or we've got the other piece that hasn't got any blue in it. Oh, that has got blue in it. I picked up the wrong piece. Right. Let's cut into, how much do I need? Go with it, Cindy. I'm a bit of a paper hoarder. See, I don't think I'm going to need all of that stem. So if I cut a strip about 2.5, no, 2 3/4. Right. Now if I cut 3 off, will that give me No, I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to cut it a 4-inch piece off. Right. Now, let's go back, get the old cut and emboss machine out. And I will just stick this down, although I'm not trying to line it up with any stamping. I don't really want it to move because it's quite a tight fit on there. Right. Look at that. Ooh, how lovely is that? Okay. Just going to get a couple of little pieces to lift up. Ah, how stunning. I wonder, you see, what you could do is to kind of, it's got some little folds, some score lines. You could actually do this and put some life in the, I'm thinking as I'm going along here. So, right. Okay. Right, so I'm going to pop that to one side so I don't mislay it. And I'm thinking that I'm going to cut one of these little toppers out so I don't completely waste all of my piece of pretty paper. And we may or may not use it, we'll see. Right. Let's take that, get rid of those pieces, and I'm going to pop that. I always keep a little pot next to my cut and emboss machine that I put my dies in so that they don't get knocked on the floor or I don't lose them in something when I'm working. So that's my little pot. And let's see. Here. Now, so there's my piece I'm going to layer, and there's my pot, and there's my leaf. All right. Maybe I ought to move it over a little bit, and see if this is going to go like this. Let's put the other side on. It's going to go like that. And so it can go outside the footprint of my little front panel, but it can't go outside of the footprint of my card. I'm thinking that that might look a bit better, say, down a weeny bit. And oh, I'm really glad I didn't cut this this piece off here. Okay, let's start by attaching these pieces here. Like that. Now maybe, shall I put that on? Kind of makes it a little bit taller. Well, we're going to do it. I've got it cut now. I'm going to do it. managed to put the glue in the wrong place. Let's just take the excess off. Just got a little bit of glue along there. I got rid of that. Okay. Any comments from anybody? Right, well, how are you feeling about this? I've still got a couple of things to add if it's going to work. So this is the twine, and it's quite a heavy twine. I'm maybe thinking that I'm not sure where I can find somewhere for that. But these, I think, might be the way to go. I might just be able. I think I'll use those. I'll think about using those. Now then, what we don't have is we don't have a greeting. So we've got things that say those like thank you, with gratitude. You see, you are proof there is good in the world. Now, you always know what to say and do. Now, you could make this into a birthday card, and if you've got, I have got another stamp set, but I usually like to use a stamp set, the stamp set with everything in it. Rather than to go to another one. But as I say, you could change this out to make a birthday card. I've got a nice piece of card here that would make for a good thank you. We could possibly put the thank you across the pot. Or we could just literally leave the front blank and put a message inside. So you always know just what to say and do. You are proof that there's good in the world. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put this inside. You always know what to say and do. Let's do that. So I just need a block. It's a bit of a big one, but it'll do. And I haven't used the Pretty Peacock very much, so I'm going to use that. And I'm going to take it over the corner. You know me, I don't want to stress about getting it level and center, so I'm just going to take it across the corner like that. You always know what to say and do. And I've got this one as well. So let's just pop a little there. And while I'm at it, I'm going to do my envelope. So I'm just going to put those lovely grasses. I think that's as much stamping as I need to do. Let's clear the decks a bit so I can see where I'm going with this. Right, okay, let's try and pull this all together and have ourselves a finished card. there's that. And I'm just going to cut, I'm just going to put these down flat. I was thinking that maybe I would put them on Stampin' Dimensionals just to pop them up, but I'm going to save those for the next level, the other layers. So if you are watching this live, maybe you'll go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you're watching the replay, then maybe you'll go ahead and give me a thumbs up as well. And you know, if you have any questions or any comments that you'd like to make, you can always make them below this video. It's down below here. And I always love to read the comments that people make. And any questions, I'll do my very best to answer them for you. And if you don't already subscribe, maybe you go ahead and do that. And then each time I go live, you'll get a notification. And you'll be able to join me while I work through making my card each week. Right, so I've put some dimensionals on this side here, and I'm going to put a couple of them on this side here as well, and then that way it won't, I know that it's not going to show when I stick my panels down. So we're going to take these away and take the backing off of these ones and do our best to center. Like that. And now we are left deciding what we're going to do with this beauty. And I'm determined to use it. Okay, so let's put a glue dot underneath it's copper. It says my 2Ds one. I don't see your name there, but it's actually copper embossed, not embossed. It's foil, copper foil. And if you missed the beginning, of the live, it comes like this, and as I say, this is copper foil, and then you've got the colour underneath, and it's single-sided, so you don't have to break your heart which side you're going to use when you make your card. Now then, thank you. Oh, Carol. Thank you, Carol, and thank you for joining and asking the questions. I do love it when people join in with me, because I know I'm not talking to myself. And and sometimes, and I do talk to myself when I need expert advice, but on a Sunday, when I'm doing my lives, I really love to be able to talk to folks outside. Now then, I'm going to put this pot on. Well, thank you. I'm glad you liked the card. Were you able to see the live from the beginning, Carol? Well, you know, casing with your own, that's perfect. I love the fact that you want to case. That's a very sincere form of flattery, and I'm thrilled that you like it enough that you will do your own thing with it. All right, and I'm determined. I am determined that I'm going to use some of these little cuties. And you know, there's these here which seem to sort of be like a crumb cake colour, a pale beige. And I'm thinking maybe what I will do is, I've got the centre of this here, and I think that will just, come on, you behave yourself. It's always okay with me, Carol. You know, if I wanted to keep my work for, if you like, to myself, I wouldn't put it on a live platform that goes around the world. I love to share, and if you are inspired by this, then my job is complete. Okay, so I think that would make a really good card for a guy, which was what I intended to do when I said last week that I would use each of these special papers. So last week we did a Christmassy one. This week we've got a guy one, but this could be great for Thanksgiving as well. I think I would like to use that maybe for Thanksgiving. And so what we did was we featured these lovely papers. So that was one thing that we did. And we used these lovely dies with the coordinating stamp set, and I was able to work in these speckled dots as well. Well, thank you for saying I'm awesome, Carol. I appreciate that very much. So there's my my card for today. I hope you have enjoyed it. I will be back next week with another live at the same time. I think we'll still be in daylight saving time next week, so it'll be 1 o'clock again. I hope you're able to join me, Carol. I look forward to that. And in the meantime, I will say thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again. Bye bye for now. Oh, I hope you do join me next week, Carol. Bye bye now.